plunge majestically into a pool 20 metres below on your left, before continuing on into Llyn. As the train emerges from the trees into open, treeless countryside, you should be able to catch your first glimpse of the sharp peak of Snowdon as it pokes its craggy head above the right-hand side of the ridge in front of you. Of course, that is assuming there's no cloud covering the top. The smooth, rounded contours of Lliwedd, named after the 4th century Irish king, now rise on your right hand. Many abandoned buildings dot the landscape from here to halfway up the mountain. These are all that remain of the simple, brick-walled dwellings that housed the families who once lived here, and raised a few animals to augment meagre wages earned in the great slate quarries of Gwynnedd in Llanberis. At one time, there were over 100 people living in these small farm buildings, forming the original community of Llanberis. Now, like the eagles that once soared above these valleys, they are all gone. To your right, you can see what remains of the walls that enclosed Iesgob, or Bishop's Field. Next to it are the ruins of Bishop Goodman's house. Godfrey Goodman was Bishop of Gloucester in the 17th century and came here some 400 years ago. He purchased this land in Llanberis and apparently came here to meditate and, presumably, to minister to this small parish. Other remains of roundhouses and huts have been found close to the railway line at Bath, where the train crossed the river above the waterfall area. These settlements date from the Roman occupation of Wales. Although the Roman invasion of Britain took place in AD 43, it was not until 5 years later that Wales felt the brute force of the Roman legions, and Wales could not be said to be under full control of Rome for another 13 years. But apparently nobody told the Welsh that. The fears and independent tribes that lived here were a constant thorn in the invaders' side. After a foray into Ynys Môn or Anglesey to subdue a hotbed of Druidism, the Roman forces were dragged across country to put down ubicas uprising in East Anglia. This prompted another later attempt to subjugate the Ordovicians, the indigenous people of North Wales. During these campaigns, the Romans built temporary forts for their own protection and to maintain their authority over the local tribes. Evidence of these forts can be found throughout Snowdonia. In any event, the Romans apparently thought that little of the Welsh territory they had conquered would be of much use to them. The inhospitable landscape and the fierceness of its inhabitants were too much trouble. Consequently, there is little evidence of Roman urbanisation on these hills or valleys outside Caernarfon. On the far side of the valley, known as Clogwyn, or Valley of the Reeds, rises the rounded hump of Foel Gron. To its left stands the red hill of Goch. The high stone walls that spread like raised veins across the landscape from here up into the valley on the right side of the track are of such historic and cultural importance that some farmers have paid to keep them in good order. The valley now, you will see the great flanks of Royal Cuckoo. To do the first time. You will have a better, closer view of this historic mountain as we pass by a little later. 1833, the cash-strapped families of this valley pooled their money and out of the bitterness they scraped from the slate quarries and from the land, raised sufficient to build a chapel. This chapel became their spiritual and cultural centre. The last service was held here in the early 1950s. It was still structurally sound in 1966 when it was bought for £450 by a man from Birmingham. As you can see from the ruin, down to your right, just below the railway line, it doesn't seem that he set foot here often, and now nature has become its final tenant. Its name lives on, however, in the name of the station here, Hebron. Bottom of Gwynedd, the valley of Reeds, you can see the large ruin farm of Wyddfa. It's thought to have been a place for gathering the sheep brought down in winter from higher up the mountain. And just as likely, it was a hunting lodge used in the pursuit of wild boar, which was once a favourite pastime hereabouts. The last wild boar was killed here many centuries ago, when the land was still covered with trees.